Brindley, and it is Monday night, and I am so excited to be here with you guys. Tonight's topic is change is inevitable, growth is optional. Change is inevitable, growth is optional, and the reason I wanted to talk about this is for a few reasons. It's 2020, right? We have about 10 weeks left in 2020, and we want to make the most of it. We've had a lot of change this year, a lot of change that wasn't our choice, a lot of change that has come due to unforeseen circumstances. And I think that we can all agree that 2020 has taught us that life is going to happen. And it's going to happen on life's terms, not always our terms. And there's also a lot of good that can come from change. I was talking with a friend the other day around the pandemic, and hi, Angelina, happy Monday. And I was like, when I look and I really look back at the last, 10 months, a lot of good has come from this. My team is stronger than ever. We have been able to hire amazing talent. My home is better than it's ever been. I've been able to have some work done because I've been able to save money because it really brought to light a lot of things that I needed to be doing around budgeting and all of this. And so I've really challenged some folks to go back over the last 10 months and write down all the things that you've gained this year. Because I think sometimes we tend to focus on all the things that we've lost and not all of the things that we've gained. And there's been a lot of good that has come from this year. Yet tonight, what I want to talk about is change. Change is hard. Change is tough. A lot of us don't handle change very well. And change can be something as big as what happened to me eight years ago, my whole life turning upside down because of this massive, huge mistake that I made. Or change can be a very small thing, like losing a client to a competitor, or not, for my teenagers that watch, right? Like not winning the football game, or for, moms, not being there or missing the game. Like there's so many things that don't meet our expectations that then turn into change, and change is uncomfortable. And so change is going to happen. Things are going to happen. Things are going to happen that we don't want to happen. Things are going to happen that we don't think are going to happen. And we're going to have to pivot. We're going to have to pivot. And sometimes we have to pivot quickly, and we don't always get the time to process and think through it. We have to be quick on our feet, and we have to just deal with it and move forward. And one thing that I've learned, some of you know my journey over the last 12 months, and it's something that I've decided to keep very private and not talk publicly about. Yet I've had a lot of change in the last year, a lot of change. And there's been a lot of growth moments, a lot of painful moments, a lot of emotional moments, and working through things and processing things, and evaluating how I've shown up in situations and how I could have done better in certain situations and certain relationships, and things that I've done. A lot of amends have been made over mistakes that I've made, and owning my part in things. And yet through all of that change, I always had a choice. I could either let it consume me, and I could react to it, and I could go into old behaviors, and I could let my emotions take over, or I could go into a depressive state and not get out of bed and not want to be motivated and just sleep all day. Or I could choose to do what's uncomfortable. And that's not always the easy thing to do. I got summoned for jury duty. I'm 40, so the first time in 20, do the math, what is that, 22 years, I got summoned for jury duty. And I said to my mom, Mom, sometimes it stinks having integrity as one of your values, because you can't lie. Like you can't, and I never would, but I was making a joke that, when you have integrity, you have to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. And I was talking to friends, and they were giving me tips on how I could avoid doing this jury duty. And I'm like, no, this is my obligation, and I have to be in integrity, and I have to be honest. And if that means that I have to be out of work because I can be, because I do have the flexibility to do that, then that's what I need to do. And so that's where growth comes in. And those are the moments that I know the growth is working. I wasn't always a woman of integrity. There's still moments that my integrity comes into play. I'm sure there's still tons of people out there that would tell you I don't have integrity, right? Yet their opinions of me don't matter, it's none of my business, which we've talked about. All that matters today is that I choose to grow through everything. One of my mentors, Diana Another way of saying is if you're not growing, you're stagnant. And stagnant water is yucky. It's gross. It gets moldy when it sits. So we have to constantly be growing. And so I really encourage you to look at the changes that have happened this year, and even the simple changes that might have happened today, that client you lost, or bigger changes. Sometimes that one phone call that can change the entire trajectory of your life. How are you choosing to focus on it? Because everything in life is a choice. And we've talked about that in the past. And you can choose to let the change overcome you. I could have chosen 8 years ago to take a path of continuing into addiction and continuing into, seemingly hopeless behavior because it was too much work to change. It was too much work to grow. Or I could suit up, show up, put one foot in front of the other, and just do whatever I needed to do to grow. And so I just ask you today, how are you using the things that are changing in your life, especially the things that aren't good change, that don't feel good, to grow? If you ever want to talk about it, you can reach out, Brindley, at brindleytucker.com, Brindley at brindleytucker.com, or you can private message me. By the way, this is allergies. If you follow me on Facebook, which clearly if you watch this video, I hope you do. Allergies in Florida are rampant, and that's a change, right? Allergies during a pandemic called COVID, where the symptoms are similar to allergies, is really fun. So, and first world problems today, right? I get to deal with allergies in the middle of COVID in my beautiful home, talking to all of you. So again, how do we choose to look at things? And if you look at things, right, if you change the way you look at things you look at will change. So choose to focus on growth and not the uncomfortability. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Have a great week, guys. Bye.